Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1553 of our daily content grind. So this is the day where I just tell the algorithm to go away. I don't care if you're going to bury this video or not, and I don't care that most of my audience wants me to talk Transformers. You want lore, you want toy info, you want a top 10, you want a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sometimes I need to do things just for me. This one is just for me. If you know anything about me, you know that my favorite video game franchise of all time is Mega Man. You know, second only to Transformers, well, third. Let's say Transformers and Kamen Rider. I probably have more merchandise of those. And that's only because those two produce consistent, constant floods of merchandise, toys, and otherwise. But number 3 behind it is Mega Man. And considering how sparse the Mega Man stuff is comparatively, I think that says a lot. So, the Game Awards for a lot of people was about Expedition 33 running away with the awards. Two of my favorites from the year, Silk Song and Bonanza, ended up winning awards. Makes me happy. But for me, is like the award show begins and ends with that one world premiere of a brand new Mega Man game, Dual Override, the 12th entry in the classic series, which is fascinating alone that they did not specifically number it, not directly anyway. If you're a wrestling fan, you might recall years back hearing a story about how Vince McMahon did not want to number the WrestleManias anymore because he didn't want them to feel old or anything. I'm getting the same vibe from that. Like, they don't want the perception to be like this is just an ancient franchise that's been around for this many games. Or to have that modern perception of, I don't have to play from number 1 to understand what happens in number 12, do I? No. It's Mega Man. It's never rocket science. Well, we're going to take a look at the details and nitty-gritty of the trailer. This is just to break my thoughts down, because I have to get my thoughts out on this. I have to get my thoughts out on this, or I'll just be screaming to myself in the empty toy store. The trailer has actually a really cool tease. At the Game Awards, there's a full orchestra that's playing this nice-sounding song. It's building up in being epic the farther through this digital tunnel you get toward the end. If you're very astute, you're paying attention to the view monitors that are in the corners of the hallway, because they have numbers in the center and then years dated in their corners. And it does correspond to every release of Mega Man prior to this. Okay, so that's a good little nod. But what's a better nod is the Mega Man 2 Dr. Wily theme starts playing. Like, not specifically that, like, normal, like, recognizable version of the song, but as the orchestra is going on, you can hear it build toward that song, and those familiar notes start creeping in, and it's a really cool, slow burn and build up to that moment. And you are also hearing what I presume to be the voice of Dr. Light saying that, you know, he is needed once more. And you see, like, the code to get into the door at the very end is DNL-.001, which is the serial number for Mega Man. I was watching reactions to it, and very few people picked up on it was Mega Man from the music, which was a little bit disappointing, but some of the really hardcores knew what it was based on the number alone. That made me happy. I do laugh at the idea that, like, Dr. Light just keeps him on ice in between games. Just like, well, it's gonna be like 8 years before you get another game. Let's just put you in the long-term storage over here. So it's a cool visual, but maybe like a weird in context thing. But no, it makes for a really cool reveal, and it's unfortunate because the music and the line from Dr. Light is missing from the official trailer version, which is a little bit disappointing. But we did get actual gameplay and visuals. Oh, it's really cool when we get gameplay right off the bat, though it seems like this game is also still fairly early in production. And what we saw from the gameplay is pretty much what you would expect from Mega Man. It's 2.5D, it's platforming, it's, cutesy robots to battle. There's some familiar enemies, those stupid birds dropping bombs and their own children on me. Since the NES era. Those are still here. The Metools are still here. I mean, it looks fine. Like graphically, yeah, it looks nice. I mean, it's a very much vintage in how it is doing its art style, which is basically what you come to expect from Mega Man. So we got to see this stage and then another one. All of this is firework based. I don't really want to say like there's going to be a robot master named like Firework Man, but like something along those lines, it's going to be like it's going to be like Carnival Man or something akin to that. And I'm seeing familiar platforming elements. It looks like here you've got to use the fireworks to blast off and to make the ledges, etc. So it seems like all of this comes from just one level. That dome section looks like it came from the same level as well, just before you get to the actual celebration and the fireworks going on, which is the theme of the entire trailer. So here again, the firework theme. So it looks like they've really only got one stage in development right now. Just to kind of spoil it already, the date for the game is 2027. So to get that detail in 2025 is pretty early in the game's development, especially considering it looks like does look like it's using the same engine as Mega Man 11, which may or may not be true. We have no idea until they actually say that, but it very much looks the part. Let's see. And there's only one other like presumed level that got shown, and it almost could be just like a beginner stage. Like this level itself, aside from just having these giant robots in the background, they don't really have too much of like a personality or an attitude or like lean itself toward a robot master or something. This similar to like Mega Man 8 had like a starting level. This, or NEX game has a starting level. This feels like a starting level. Now, with this, I got curious, so I went back to find screenshots of Mega Man 11 because I wanted to compare just graphic level, detail, clarity, etc., how busy the backgrounds are. They're actually kind of comparable. I do think Mega Man 11 has much simpler graphics going on, and while it does look like a few assets are the same, the Metool looks exactly the same. Mega Man is definitely more detailed in the Mega Man the dual screenshots, and yeah, like there's definitely graphical improvement, but it's not like the huge improvement that I would want. If you've heard my grievances with modern Mega Man before, you will know that while this is an exciting time for me, oh my god, Mega Man is getting a new game, and that's very thrilling. It makes me very happy. However, the bitter aftertaste to this is the fact that this really isn't the Mega Man game I want. While it's great that they go back to the retro style, that's all they do. Every 6 or 7 years they do a retro style Mega Man game now, and that's just to tide us over. No, but that's not what I want. Mega Man once upon a time was like your number 3 platformer behind Mario and Sonic. He was the one who got to actually stand out despite not being like a console mascot. So I was really disappointed when Mega Man never really made the leap into 3D the way Mario and Sonic did. They attempted to spin off a different series, and that was Mega Man Legends, in order to put Mega Man into the third dimension. And I love the Legends games, but they really did not take off the way they needed to, and it wasn't the classic gameplay, so it didn't really feel like, the Mega Man people were hoping would make that jump like Sonic and Mario did. These two got it right. Say what you want about a lot of the 3D Sonic games, but there's still good ones in there from time to time, and the Mario games are almost always good, Mario, like I honestly think both of these have like the formula down that Mega Man needs to aspire to, like to be a running series that can go back and forth between the 2D and a modern 3D style, just to keep the games fresh. And that works for them and should work for Mega Man too. You know, I also think they could take a huge point from both of these franchises. The 2D games from both of these guys will last you quite a while. Whereas, like, I can be done with, like, a traditional side-scrolling Mega Man in, like, 3 hours, even if I don't know the boss order at first. You know? That's said, I've been playing Mega Man my whole life, so that's not saying much, but it does feel that way. It just feels like he never evolved. And while I'm excited for the game, it's still not the game I wanted. The game I want looks more like Ratchet and Clank than it does like, this iteration of Mega Man. Because that's the game that kind of perfected like 3D platforming and running and gunning elements to me. It's very much the same. You got a bunch of robot enemies you got to blow up. It's very satisfying to blow them up. You have multiple weapons you can switch through. You got all the platforming elements. There's a lot of traditional platforming stuff, a lot of modern stuff you can only do in 3D. It feels right. And it feels like the kind of game I would want to play as Mega Man. Not to mention, the game lasts like 10 or 12 hours. Well, no, like how many streams did it take? It took me more streams than that. It took me more streams than that to beat Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I can't remember how many hours, but it was a good amount of gameplay and time. That's the problem with the 2Ds. They just don't last long enough. You got 8 Robot Masters, you got 5 boss levels, and, that's basically your lot. You might throw in an extra boss level, you might throw in a tutorial level, but that's it. That's really it. So I'm happy to see a new game, but it's not the game I wanted. It's not the real game I wanted. It looks like this is going to be another 2D gimmicked platformer. So the previous one, Mega Man 11, was gimmicked because the game was built around the Double Gear system. And Double Gear was fun, though not really essential. You could use it as a boost for certain aspects of the game, but really you could beat it without that. I remember last time I played, I didn't use the Double Gear all that much, mostly because the downsides I thought outweighed the advantages. But that's just me. But it looks like we got something weird going on here too. Mega Man's armor has never opened up like that before. Especially not his Buster Arm. His Buster Arm looks like it's absolutely exploded. I'm super curious what this means, and if this has anything to do with the dual override that they named it after. The dual override thing really makes me wonder what is going on. I mean, it's another double word for starters, so it could just be another, power or speed, take your pick kind of gimmick. They could be working something like override makes me think like digital cyberspace stuff, or like hacking mechanics or something like that. So there could be new gameplay element to it. They could have found some way of adding to the traditional 2D stages. Maybe. I don't know. There is a whistle of Proto Man at the end. So, the dual part might indicate we might be doing something different character-wise, like maybe swappable, like hot swap during stages, so I can swap between Proto Man and Mega Man. I mean, I'm just like shooting the wind there, but like it feels like the right time to just have like a Mega Man game, similar to like how X started doing it, where it's just like, here's a cast of characters, pick one to go through the level in. But yeah, Dual Override's got a lot going for it, but man, there's concerns. There is one fun part about this that we haven't gotten to. They are doing a Robot Master Design Contest. They have not done this since like Mega Man 5 and 6, I want to say. It's been a minute. So yeah, you've basically got until January 1st to submit a Robot Master design. Let's go over like the nitty gritty here. Let's see. I need your help to destroy Mega Man, Dr. Wily. The Robot Master Design Contest for Mega Man Dual Override is now open. We're looking for designs of a robot who has a right arm with immense suction powers. Will your design be the one to face Mega Man in the game? Draw Mega Man fans for everlasting peace. I know we like to throw around everlasting peace in the Mega Man fandom, but I feel like when you're designing one of Dr. Wily's robots, I don't think that's the time to talk about drawing for peace. That said, they gave us basically a template. You know, just the overall, like, size, shape. That gives us, like, body proportions. But they really want some kind of suction weapon. So, this is interesting to me. I mean, I've had Robot Master ideas in my brain for a long, long time. None of them were, like, vacuum-based. None of them had a hose arm. So, this is going to be interesting. Yes, I'm going to try out. If you haven't noticed my art style, if you've ever seen my VTuber model, I've been drawing Mega Man style stuff my whole life. That's where my art style leans toward. So I can absolutely hammer out something that probably looks decent. And I could probably, like, polish it enough to actually look really good. No, this is a challenge. I will take said challenge. So, don't get me wrong. Yes, it's not the Mega Man game I was hoping for. It's not that evolution of the franchise that I think it desperately needs. It needs to stop going. They've talked about, Capcom with this announcement has talked about wanting Mega Man to come back as one of their major franchises that they support every 2 or 3 years, like they do Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, etc. They want their original mascot back, which is great to hear, but I'm not sure putting out another retro game that modern gamers are probably going to get bored of very quickly is the way to go about that. So this might just be a dip in the water, just it's like a just like a quick little, like, reassertion of Mega Man, as it were. We had reports, I think earlier this year or last year, that they had taken people off the Monster Hunter team to focus on Mega Man, and that gave me promise, because that meant they're putting quality people into a franchise I really want. I can't imagine you take Monster Hunter developers and they just churn out your basic 8 Robot Master, run and gun. So, this is optimistic. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's not that I'm not excited for it. Like, you can see it on stream. Like, if you go back to my stream archive when my friend Mace busts into the middle of the stream to tell me about a new Mega Man game existing, like, VTuber models work like puppetry. So you can just see on my model where my mouth is hanging open in real life. Because I'm still just in utter shock, and I'm super excited for it. But let me know in the comments below, for my Mega Man fans out there, how excited you are for this, or if you're kind of like me, and some of the other reactions I've seen, Arlo's was like this, that you kind of wish it wasn't retro style. Maybe that's just me. I'm actually curious on that one. But that's it for me. I just had to get all my thoughts out, and I appreciate everyone bearing with it. I promise you'll get a good Transformer thing for Toy-Sember tonight. I promise you that. I'll be back to Transformers tomorrow. So, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.